I have dog hair all over my shirt. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about what I'm doing right now in my witchcraft journey and where I'm at in life right now. I'm going to talk about the dark moon, practices in the dark moon, and what books I'm reading, and generally what I'm doing right now. I'm sorry about the glare in my glasses. It's the light above the camera and stuff. Also, I want to talk about the podcast I'm currently working at. I have decided to do the podcast in Swedish instead of English because the main things I want to talk about affects the Swedish society and the culture in Sweden more than it impacts everything else. So I want to do it in Swedish since the average Swede are not very interested in learning things from podcasts in English. I think the general or average Swede are more interested in their native language. So I have decided to not make an English podcast. First, I wanted to talk about the books I'm reading. And the first book I'm reading is this one called Fire Magic by Josephine Winter. Elements of the Witchcraft series is it from, and the series has all the other elements of witchcraft as well, but I'm particularly, do you say that? I'm specifically interested in fire magic, so I decided to just get the fire magic book because I want to work specifically with fire deities and fire crystals and things. Fire is also my element in my I'm Sagittarius and I'm a fiery woman. And it's my element as well, so that's why I'm very very interested in specifically fire magic. And it's a very interesting book because it has everything that is associated with fire, not just only candles and the flames in fire. It has crystals associated with fire, and it has deities, as I said, associated with fire, like Bridget. I like Bridget. I want to work with Bridget, and I'm planning on working with Bridget. And she's a fire deity, and it also has folklore and history about the fire element. And yeah, it's a very good book. I like it so far. The other book I'm reading is Of Blood and Bones. I forgot the title. And this is what the book looks like, was what I meant to say. Kate Froller. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but that's the writer of the book. The author is named Kate Froller. Of Blood and Bones, working with shadow magic and the dark moon. And this is a very interesting book, and I can say I won't do all the things in this book because I'm not that kind of witch. I won't do all the baneful magic in this book, but I am curious about the dark moon and the dark moon practices and practices around the dark moon and about shadow work, and that's why I'm learning about this. And I'm also interested in learning about this, but not doing this. I'm interested in theoretical in a theoretical sense, if you can say that. I'm not interested in the practical sense of this book. Not most of the practices in this. Maybe some of the practices I am genuinely interested in learning more about and doing more, and maybe do it in real life as well. But I'm mostly interested in the theoretical side of this book. I'm not much for baneful magic. I have done it on two people, so I'm not afraid of doing it if necessary. But I'm not the one that's do this in my everyday practice or even in my general practice. But you can want to learn about something but not want to do it, or maybe the right wording is to say that you can want to learn about it and do it if it's necessary and if it fits your life when you do it, but it's not something you plan to do regularly. And I'm not afraid of doing baneful magic, but I'm not doing it very often. But I must say, this is the most interesting book I'm reading right now. It's for not being that kind of witch, I actually like this book very much, more than I want to admit, actually. Maybe that's a flaw of mine rather than anything else. Maybe it's a flaw of mine that I think baneful magic is bad, because it's not. It's like self-defense is not. It's not bad. I just not. I'm not very used to it. I have done it a little bit, but not very much. And that's why this is a beginner book. And I think when it comes to the Dark Moon and to shadow work and baneful magic, I'm a beginner, so fits me quite well. And I like to learn about it in theory and maybe doing it in practice, in reality as well. I don't know. We'll see. The other books, let's see. I have so many books I'm reading. I don't know if this is a good book, but I think it was cute, and it says Witch Please from Bitch Please. Witch Please by Victoria Maxwell. I don't actually know if this is a good book because I haven't started reading it yet, but it's very cute. I don't know, I think it can do any harm to read it. Um, anyway, because I'm quite experienced in witchcraft, so I know to cross reference, and I know how to read books and not take everything you need. Everything you need. I'm not new to witchcraft, and I know how to take things with a grain of salt and how to like take what speaks to me and leave the rest. So the book is a famous one, just like Of Blood and Bones is a famous one. I read The Altar Within by Juliet Diaz, I think it's pronounced. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Juliet Diaz. And this is an intermediate book, I think. And it talks a lot about heritage and the person behind magic, and about reclaiming yourself, and about toxic traits in the witchcraft community, in the spiritual community. It talks about bad habits we tend to have in the witchcraft community, and is pretty much a guide to your divine self, to find your divine self through radical acceptance and devotional of yourself. And I like this book so far. I have read almost half of the book, and I'm soon on the prompts in the last bit of the book. In the last bit of the book, there is kind of journaling prompts, and I'm almost there. Yeah. Another thing I do right now is working a lot with spirit work through tarot, and I'm also planning and do a lot of research to begin my deity work, because I have only worked with the triple goddess, most famous in Wicca, before, but I have some other things I want to do in the deity work realm. But I do a lot of spirit work and ancestor work, and I do it through tarot, and I use this deck specifically for spirit work, and it's also called Tarot of the Divine, a deck and guidebook by Yoshitani, inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world. And I really bond with this deck because it's gorgeous, and I just was able to connect with this one better than other decks. And sorry, something happened with my microphone. I don't know what happened, but it started to just sound weird, and now we have to make it through the video without any microphone, and it's just the built-in microphone in my camera. I don't know what happened. It started to sound very weird and just stopped working. I don't think I'm going to buy any new microphone from this brand ever again. I have just had a lot of terrible experiences with it. So anyway, I was talking about this tarot deck. Look how gorgeous. Whoops. It's just gorgeous. I can't with this deck. Just look, I can't with the imagery and everything. Just look at the Empress, for example. It's look like this, or like, I don't like this card, but look at this death card. So gorgeous. Or like, and also the minor arcana, I don't know, arcana, King of Coins. It says coins instead of pentacles in this deck. King of Coins, for example, is drawn like this. It's a lot of symbolism, and I think I can read this deck on a psychic level, and I connect with it more than any of my other decks, and I just use this for spirit work and for deity work. And yeah, I just wanted to show a little bit inside the box I was showing you and stuff. Another practice I'm doing right now is spending a lot of time with my Book of Shadows and just filling it with all the knowledge I'm doing. This is my Book of Shadows. It's one of my very many Book of Shadows. I have like 3 different for different purposes, and this is my main one. It's a huge book with a dragon spirit on it and the pentacle, and I like it very much. It's handmade, so I think it's real leather, and that's a shame. I don't like that thing about this, but I will do better in the future. Yeah, spending time. Also, the back of the book is very cute. I will make a more in-depth video about my Book of Shadows and walking a walkthrough and a flip through, and yeah, show you my Book of Shadows and how it is on the inside. Sometimes it's just enough to spend time with your Book of Shadows and to do your daily practices and not complicate stuff. I think it's more important to do simple stuff that regularly than doing complicated stuff just now and then. And witchcraft is not that complicated. It doesn't have to be that complicated. And I think for now it's just enough to do spirit work with divination and reading books and doing research about it, and spending time with the dark moon and my ancestors, and do things with my altar and just be. And I think that's where I'm at for a moment. This was everything I had for it was my phone. That was I have to go, I think. This was everything for today, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.